Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me into another Kritika video. My name is Wolky, and if you're wondering why the hell this is recorded with facecam, is because I'm rather taking this directly off the stream. So I'm actually live streaming and gonna be recording my live daily routine. So this is gonna be what I do daily. And before we actually start with my daily routine, two things to note, or rather one thing to note. As you can see here in the bottom left corner, I hope you can see it. Let me check that. Yes, you are able to see that. You see that I have 525k comet power, which means I have all the areas that need 500k CP unlocked. So if you're trying to repeat the same routine I do here, and you're unable to enter dungeons, this is most likely why, because you either did not finish the quest lines yet, or you don't have the CP, which kind of is the same because CP gates are quest gates for some reason, but you get the idea. Anyways, I usually start in Windy Highlands camp. There's no order in which you have to do them. There's no best routine in my opinion. This is just really the most convenient way for me. So I start with taking this quest. It really only gives you 12k, so it's not a whole lot, but you will probably run these dungeons later on. So this is usually what I start with. And then I proceed to run the dungeons here. Now, before I start, so as you can see, I am not having equipped the premium wing, so my combat power increases a little bit, and I have a pet gem, this one, and I think that one. All right. So now I'm almost at stock combat power. I don't have a Catalapis right now. My talisman's not level up, and I have 0 points in the Knight's Tap. So there are no bonus points for now in here. So this is as clean as you can get my combat power from directly logging in. So these I usually keep for the last thing. So what I start with is Supplementary Dungeons. Now, Haunted Spell or Haunted Spell Furnace I think is a 110k or 140k dungeon. Straggler's Camp is definitely a dungeon you cannot enter before 500k. Pardon me. So this is one of the dungeons where you need 500k for. This is also the dungeon that drops Talisman Upgrades, and I'm going to start with that one. So these are definitely what I would run. As soon as you can run them, I highly recommend running them, because they will give you materials that will not, like, extremely increase your combat power or stats in general, but over time, if you get the routine in of running them, I should have probably started a timer here, but you see this dungeon is not necessarily too hard. I'm using the range build on Doomblade right now, which I still haven't figured out if that's the best one or not, so I can't really give you any true opinion on that one because I don't know myself. It might be the better build compared to the infinite right-click one. It might not be. It's really... I'm really not sure. Anyways, there we go. First boss here. Maybe we are able to take her out. There we go. And that's it for the first daily dungeon. As you can see, we got some pieces of ruin. Do we get anything else? I got something sold. That's nice. And pardon me, my throat is really killing me right now. And we are doing it again. As I said, this dungeon is very easy. Or really, all of the dungeons we're going to be running daily are fairly easy. There's no real challenge in the daily runs. God damn it. But really, Kritika never offered a challenge per se. Like, the challenge, I haven't done the raids. They are apparently quite difficult. On the other hand, it's probably just a matter of having the right gear, so we will see about that. Anyways, there we go. I don't want to get one shot. I didn't get one shot, so that's fine. Okay. Not the best run. Dang, damn, my throat is annoying. So you get a Talisman Scroll here. This is the main reason you're coming here for. Because you need, there we go, them to upgrade your Talisman. I haven't figured out how exactly. But once I figure that one out, I'll probably tell you. And there we go for the last run. So you get 3 chances at your Talisman upgrades. As I said, this is probably the last thing most of you will unlock because it's gated behind 500k CP. As far as the other dungeons go, I think everything is unlocked at 140k plus. So the rest you should probably be able to run. If not, I highly suggest your first goal to be get to 140k CP. There are multiple guides on the internet. I'm not sure if I will make a video, because I did a little bit of a cheat there, I guess, as I didn't have to do the struggle other people usually would have to do. So it's a little bit unfair to compare my progression run to yours. And we got 2 scrolls here. Nice. And you get the usual gold or ruin fragments or pieces of ruin at the end. And as you can see, if I want to enter a 4th time, it will not let me. So this is the first dungeon. I'd like to call it Talisman Dungeon, Striker's Camp. And we will continue. We got the delivery box. I will do that later. So the next thing, as I said, Hunted Blood Furnace. We don't know if drop rate actually matters or not. I recommend running something that you can easily clear. So what I usually do is I go 1 step back to when it says easy. As I said, we don't know how much important of a role the difficulty actually plays. So we can't really tell you, or I at least cannot really tell you, if it does make a difference or not. It probably does make some form of difference. Otherwise, it would be kind of pointless to like have higher difficulties. Wait, what? That was odd. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sense to have higher difficulties in the game if there would be no reason to run them, because everybody would run low-level versions then. Anyways, this dungeon is mainly for auxiliary enhancement, for artifact enhancement, safeguard fuses. Generally all the enhancement materials you need on parts of your equipment. So as really the rule of thumb is pretty much any daily dungeon that you can run that offers you any form of progression whatsoever, you do run, really. This is a rule of thumb. There's very few, god damn it, very few dungeons that I would not recommend running, but generally I think every daily dungeon you can run is definitely worth it. So same rule here, you get 3 entries, and this dungeon is... Most of the daily dungeons are fairly easy, so shouldn't be too much trouble for you. Main reason I decide to run it on lower difficulties because I don't want any hassle with high-level bosses, actually dying in dungeon, having repair costs, burning my resurrection stones, things like that. So this is why I usually prefer to run a difficulty lower than... Yeah, I guess recommended, if that makes any sense. But really, the choice is yours. You can choose to run higher difficulty. That is all up to you if you'd like to challenge yourself. Feel free to do so, really. As long as you run the dungeon, at least on the weakest difficulty or whatever suitable for you, you're good. I forgot the dark buff there. Okay. So far, so good. Now, I haven't actually checked out my daily routine guide I did on Masa's version, but I estimate that this one will definitely last longer compared to on Masa's version. I think there are more daily dungeons to run here, and it probably will take me a little bit longer. But that shouldn't be an issue, really. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I will still answer you. As per usual. Okay, second run in. Has had a lot of auxiliary enhancement stones. And we got a bunch of safeguards. Or one at least, I think. Pardon me. So, as I said, same rule here. You do want to run these dungeons. Even if you don't have any pieces of equipment you do want to upgrade at the moment, you definitely want those items once you have something you do want to upgrade again. So really, there's no reason not to run them, as they, as I said, are very easy, very convenient to run. They grant you gold just like any other dungeon you could run. So really, there's no difference in terms of gold. No reason not to run any of those. I'm not sure if there was an equipment cap. I haven't actually checked that one out. I think there was one, or there is a stack cap on some items here, but don't remember what it is. I doubt anybody will reach it anytime soon, and even if they do, they will probably just sell the materials or something, so... There are multiple ways to go about loot in this game. Anyway, up for the third run. Ah. And there we go. And we got another safeguard fuse, so we're good to go. This pretty much sums it up. As you can see, I cannot enter a fourth time. You can enter most dungeons by buying tickets, and I will show you where to get these tickets. This is a quick side note. So once it's done loading here, Yosina, I'm not sure how to actually pronounce her, is pretty much close or directly left to the portal, and she allows you to buy blank tickets. I actually have 4 of them here, so if you buy them, you can enter some dungeons, not all, but some dungeons multiple times. For example, this one is not able to be entered with this because you need a specific one, but I will show you dungeons where you can do that. So then I usually start rolling through here. Now, new conquest is I do the daily quest at the end, as I said. We just did supplementary, so now I do the daily stage. Now, if it's not weekend, you can't really choose what you're running, so just really just run whatever is up there. It's free stones. Stones are always good. You can always sell them, worst case. So if you don't have any use for them or you need gold, you can decide to sell your stones if you need to. But really, do run these daily dungeons. This is the main thing I can give you on the way. Do not bail on those, because really, if you don't do the daily dungeons but you just keep farming, you will hamstring yourself. Inevitably, you will halt, or not necessarily halt, but you will delay your progression in certain areas, so... And that's it for that one. And we got a green and a white one. Let's redo it. You can enter those twice. Also, another important note, I will show it to you once we finish it the second time. The chest you get at the end is actually timed, so you don't really have any reason to stack them. Once you get them, open them. There's no reason to keep them. Like, you don't get better rewards if you use them with higher CR or something, so just open them once you get them. And I will show you what I mean in just a second. There we go. Boss is gone. And we get a growth capsule. Then we get 2 white ones. That's fine. Okay, so as you can see, if I want to enter another time, it says nope. No entry for me, so we did a 3 out of the, I don't know, it's probably 10 or 11 daily stages you have to attend to. So as I said, it might take a little bit longer. So we got the chest. Where did it actually go? These 2, and as you can see, they can be used before. So really, just open them. And we get 2 green stones. Not a whole lot, but really, it starts piling up. So dailies are done. Events are sometimes they're open, sometimes they're not open. If they are open, you can try it, but usually they require a heck of a lot. Like Stairway to Sky is not that bad. Memory for Coupons takes 2 million CP, and same goes for Straggler's Catacombs. So if you have that CP, you probably don't even need the guide. So Parallel Labyrinth is something I'd keep to the very end, because you don't have to do this daily, because at some point you're gonna hit the cap of the skills, and I'll probably explain this in another dungeon. Same thing with the arena. I usually keep it to the end, but for the sake of not going back and forth the whole time, we will do this right now here. Definitely one of the must-do dungeons, because probably the main, well, it's not really the main source, probably, but really a very good source. Oh, you bugger. Why did you dodge that one? That's not very nice. Still dead. Oh man, keep dodging. Okay, now what I was trying to tell you here is don't bail on this one. Now, as you can see, I did have to do one dungeon, and I did hit the CP gate. So, as with most other dungeons in this game, Arena is CP gated. So, the problem with that is, like, I never died in the arena so far, and I think it's really hard for you to not make it. And as you can see right now, I have not unlocked floor 80 yet because I don't have the 600k CP. And all you're gonna do then is clear the last floor you can have stopped at, and you will always get the clear reward. So I cleared floor 79 and got 8 of these blue stones for like 30 seconds worth playing, which is really, really, really good. So I think we pretty much cleared all of these besides the Peril Labyrinth, but we can do this in the Cogwheel area as well, and this is where we're going now. This is where the dailies get a little bit more, I want to say, obfuscated. So this is something you can enter starting level 15. Depending on the CR, you can try doing some dungeons here. I don't think there are a whole lot of things to do here. So usually Cerulean has a quest for you. If she doesn't have a quest, then either you did it already or you don't have it. So just try the next time. And then as per usual, you go to the teleport or portal itself. Now we have the normal dungeons. You can enter those twice. I recommend running this one. You can try this one if you want faster XP, but really leveling is so easy in this game, don't worry about that one. And this one only gives gold as far as I'm concerned, so we will run this one. Now this quest, or this dungeon rather, very easy. Really, really easy, and we will check. I currently have 4,740,000. So keep that figure in mind. And I will just clear these floors. It's usually always the same, 10 floors. You gotta clear it as fast as possible. There's no time limit here, but really you don't want to waste any time here in this dungeon. So just shoot or hack at everything you see and clear it. Usually, as I said, these dungeons are very easy. My CP is obviously hopelessly overpowering them, so I don't really have to try anything, because one skill usually just deletes every mob here. So we get everything. No, there's one thing that's arrived here. Okay. And that's pretty much it. The main reason you want to run this dungeon is these are a very good source for gold. Problem is you can only run these twice a day, but still for like 2 minutes of work maybe longer. We'll see at the end how long this actually takes. You can get roughly 1 million gold, which is a very, very good ratio. Also, if you run the center dungeon, as I told you, you have a chance to get pet gems. While not incredibly powerful, if you get a lucky roll, and most of you should have premium enabled, if not, really, the first thing I highly recommend for you then is farm, I don't know, 15 million gold or something and get premium from the marketplace. You don't have to spend your own money if you don't want to. That's fine. People still sell premium, at least they did. I will check that afterwards. But really, premium is so much important. Like, really, it doubles the drop rate in certain dungeons, so there's no reason not to have it. Like, for this dungeon, for example, it does not actually matter, but for the other dungeons I showed, it is vital. So, we got a mid-aquamarine. Not the best one, but not the worst one either. And we got almost exactly 500k, and we will redo it. Also, hello viewer. Thank you for stopping by. Sorry for talking so much. Currently in the process of making a video for YouTube as well. Pardon me, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And I will gladly provide any assistance or entertainment for you. But yeah, as I said, very, very easy and convenient dungeon. You can run the others if you want to. If you have no use for pet gems, then obviously you don't have to run it. I just find it the most sensible one because sometimes you do get a good pet gem for it. So as you can see, pet gems, some of them can have some pretty decent stats on it. So it's really not a bad idea for a small boost in CP, which essentially you get for free. Also, the main reason why I mentioned the premium one is because the Pigran Mario, the 8th, is a premium pet. So if you have premium enabled, you get this pet every day for free. You don't have to rebuy it. You don't have to worry about it too much because it's max level, so you don't have to evolve it or anything. You just slap your pet gems in. Once the pet's running out, you get the pet gems back into your inventory, and that's it. You don't have to worry about it at all. It's very easy and convenient, so definitely a must-use and a very welcome boost in terms of stats. So as you can see, we're in floor 8. Floor 9 has these two little buggers here. And they should be dead now. Yep. And now we have the boss. Hey Fizzwell, what secret info are you talking about? Also, thank you for joining the stream. And make yourself at home. So, second clear. Oh! Hey, we got a high aquamarine, so we're actually gonna open this one. And see, maybe I will get a better roll. Oh yeah, well, I wasn't really using them at the start either until somebody showed me that you can get quite decent stats on pet gems. I'm not sure how much it... Well, it's only 6k off CP, but still. Well, Kritika is very confusing. So, okay, actually... Okay, my old one's still better, but only by a small margin. Okay. I guess I could roll them, but I will do that later. On to the next daily dungeons I'm doing. We did the normal ones, imprinting. Now, I might have to talk a little bit more about imprinting. Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going on, so don't worry about getting confused or reading up guides. This is part of the game. Anyways, in terms of imprinting, the first thing I want to know is that large imprints are the ones in the center. These are the ones that drastically change how your game plays, whether it be different skill effects, cooldown resets, and stuff like that. They also show you where each imprint, like each large imprints, actually drop. You can see this one drops in Taurus Storm Valley, Tomb of Moorkeeler, Magmadon Mines. You get the idea. So every imprint, this should be identical for each class, has a specific dungeon that it drops in. Now, if you have one of each, you don't need more. You cannot stack them, you cannot improve them. So really, you only need one of each. If you have excess, then what you can do is you can salvage one. Be sure to not press the arrow up or anything that you salvage all of them. Just salvage whatever you don't use. For example, I am still missing these two for testing, so I will do the Valkyria's Alley in this case. It does not really matter what kind of daily dungeon or imprint dungeon you're running. It only really matters in terms of what you potentially can get, because the large imprints don't always drop. So you will see, maybe we'll get lucky, maybe we won't. With the imprint pieces, I'll show you what you can do with it after I finished my 3 imprint run, which should be very quick. And there we go. First one. Okay, we got some Ether Force, and we get some imprint pieces. Basically, you can say that the imprint pieces, the material I just salvaged, is used to create the smaller ones. And I will show you that just in a second. I'll collect these. Always collect everything that drops in this dungeon. Very, very important. Still no luck. We got an intermediate one. That's okay. And pardon me, my throat is still a little bit iffy, so I might have to cough here and there. Oh, the cooldown reset. Oh, we got a mid one and a low one. That's nice. And there we go. Okay. So, unfortunately, no large one, but that's fine. I don't really need the last set that quickly. I just want to use it for testing purposes. As usual, you cannot enter. This is one of the dungeons, though, you can enter repeatedly if you have these tickets I showed you earlier. And I will show it to you again. That you can go here and click on imprint. It says 0 out of 3. Cannot enter... wait, what? Oh, I actually have to open them, right? Yeah. Okay, so if I were to open these, I can choose. So I actually gave you some kind of false information. You can choose what dungeon you want to run again. So I can, for example, choose to run an imprinting dungeon again. I don't really have any need for that, so right now I'm going to be keeping them. Okay, before we actually go, we will answer visuals. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Question in terms of what are these salvaged materials from? First of all, you also get these imprint pieces from the dungeons. Just right click them so they go here. Ether Force, same thing. Imprints, just hammer away, use them. Yada yada yada. And then what you can do with this material is you click on create. You cannot create large imprints. This is not gonna happen. This is not gonna work, never. But what you can do is you can create low, mid, and high imprints. For example, you can create this one that will cost you 19 stones. You can create this one that will cost you 38. And I can not show you. Actually, let's go. We will salvage some of them. So I can show you what the price would be for higher imprints. And that is a whopping 380 imprint pieces to create one high imprint. Now the high imprints are obviously the best ones, so they're naturally the most expensive ones. And as you can see, I don't really have all that much high imprints yet. Let me see. I only have these 3, and the rest is either mid or low for me. Ultimately, though, the longer you keep running these dungeons, the more of the high imprints you will have, and at some point in the game, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how much you farm, you will have only high imprints that you need in order to boost your combat stats. So this is what you do with those. Anyways, we're done with imprinting. Urgent hunting or emergency sweep. Now, if you can run the last one, always run the last one. That's pretty much the only recommendation I can give you here. And what you can get in these dungeons is soul gems. Now, soul gems, for those of you who do not know, is the third tab here. While they do look a little bit insignificant, they do hold actually a relatively decent potential for something you can that easily obtain. But as with most of these things here, if you don't do the daily dungeons, you're gonna be having a hard time to actually get these in a relatively reasonable fashion. So, but we survived. Okay. Also, if anybody on Doomblade is watching, this is where the ranged build shines, in my opinion. You're just deleting everything straight up. Like, you don't even have to walk up to anything. So, and there we go. Boss is gone. Obviously, if you do have lower combat stats, then you will take a little bit more time. Okay, we get a bunch of soul gems, and we get these chests here. And that's it. That's the main reason you do these dungeons. For some reason, you cannot repeat the dungeon, so you have to go back here, enter it again. That's a little bit wonky. I'm not sure why they did that, or if there is any reason for that. But, yeah. For some reason, you cannot just repeat the dungeon by pressing F4, so... Anyways, back here. Same deal here. I'm gonna collect my damage buff here. Alright. And that should be it for the second run. Also, Fizzle, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me. As I said, I'm currently making the video for YouTube, but if there's anything you want to know, then just fire away, really. No need to be shy. Alright. 2 out of 3 runs in. Also, hello, third viewer. Thank you for stopping by. And we're gonna do the third run. Alright. Also, another thing to note, these urgent or emergency sweep dungeons always are randomized. So usually it was actually lucky that I got the same dungeons twice, but it doesn't really hold any significant difference. At the end, you do get to kill the boss, and that's it. There is no difference in rewards regarding the dungeons. Is this already? Okay, that was even quicker than the other one. Alright. So these are the 3 gem dungeons, I'd like to call them. Go to level 3 lightning one, that's nice. Also you get some ether force, so yeah, but really you're here for the gems. Okay, so we did actually clear it thrice. So out of entries there. And back to the portal. Actually, I did not count all the dailies you can do, but I definitely think it's more than in Almas's version. Same thing here, you can use these tickets to do additional runs, so you can at some point in the future stack your gems quite quickly if you desire to spend the silver or gold rather. Okay, event tab, we did that. We did all, but actually we did all, I think. We did the arena. We did the daily runs in... Yeah, we did actually do all... Pardon me, we did actually do all of the daily dungeons that I would highly recommend. The last thing that is daily that I sorta would recommend is the parallel dungeon. Or labyrinth, my bad. So the main reason I only recommend it is because once the skill level, and you can see this here, this is what the 4th tab is for. Actually, we're gonna do 1 run. Oh, we actually have to do 2 runs. Oh, we actually only have to do 1 run, because I can only enter this one here. And you'll see why there is no need to run these daily. You can run them daily if you want to, but I don't think really there's a necessity for that, since you can only pick 3 skills anyway. So in this tab you only have 3 skills here. So actually let me equip them, because I haven't equipped them. Are they now in? Okay, I probably have to do this in town. So this dungeon works with a, I guess, stage counter or something. At the very top right you see this little, I don't know what kind of bar it is. This progression bar. Once you kill mobs and you find these blue orbs, this one is actually golden, but usually they are blue, the progression bar will improve or increase. Now we can see it much better. And once the bar is full, you will be able to kill the boss, and then you get the reward. So no matter which direction we go. All of the rooms here are randomized, so this one might actually be able to get through. They're quite tanky though. Good amount of mobs though, and now the bar is red, and this is pretty much the last portal you're gonna go through, and you will meet the boss here. Also, hello and thank you for any viewer that's here now. Make yourself at home. We're almost finished with the video, so I will stream in a more regular fashion. Okay, so instead of rewards at the end, you will get your upgrade points. Now, the main reason I'm telling you that you don't have to do this daily, at some point you will have your skills to a certain degree. Now, for example, I cleared a level 14 stage. Everything's good so far. Now, the stage level is the same as the skill level, and the success rate drastically went down. Like, you can still gamble, but really, the increase, it's there, but it's not really that necessary. So what I would just recommend, find skills that you like using or that benefit your playstyle, upgrade them, and then that's it. So you don't have to do this daily, but it does have a daily entrance limit, so keep that in mind. And I think, as I said, now we're actually done. Okay, yeah, possible entries 4 out of 5, so you can do this daily. You do need these spiritual amplification orbs, which are these. Are they material? Yes, they are. They drop by running your dungeons in Windy Highland Camp, so just by farming anything else, you will eventually stockpile them. So there is that, and this pretty much sums up my daily routine, what I do daily, what I recommend doing daily. As I said, we cleared everything so far here. And whatever you do now is really up to you. You can't go back to running dailies, you can do resets here if you have the gold. It really doesn't matter what kind of progression you choose. What I just recommend for you guys is always do these dailies, because they will help you in the long run. As a little bonus, for those of you who do not know what the gems do, first of all, they are categorized in 3 categories. You have the carnelians, which always go into tops, bottoms, and shoes. So all of these red gems, rubies, whatever you want to call them, carnelian is what the game calls them, always go into those 3 slots. So either your top armor, your greaves, essentially your bottom, or your shoes. These are the 3 slots. Then you have the sapphires, all of these blue ones, and they all go into either your weapon, your helmet, or your hands. And then you have the topaz, which is pretty much your elemental gem, and these only go into your accessories. This is about that. Also, now you can see that if you have a full set of armor and weapons and everything equipped with soul gems, you have a soul gem set. Now, mine's currently level 1. If you go over caution, it'll explain why. Your lowest level of gem is what dictates the level of your set. So, for example, I have a level 1 here and level 1's here. Also, I have ice ones here because I didn't have dark one. They do absolutely nothing on Doomblade, so there's no reason why I had them other than to fill the slots. So these are the stats that I'm getting through all of these gems. And this is the set effect. For example, the first one gives me critical damage 2%. Level 2 gives you more. And you can see that at the very end, the bonus is actually not that bad. So I really, really recommend doing this. All you gotta do is, I don't really have any piece of equipment so far. You just put the equipment here and unlock the slot for a little amount of silver gold. It's not really that expensive. Now, why it's so important to keep all of the gems here. Hey, Migs12, thank you for joining the stream. The end game here is pretty much, now they did introduce raids. I haven't done the raids though, so I can't exactly tell you how they look. Other than that, you farm pretty much dungeons for stones, for better gear, for enhancement stones, and things like that. So in this soul gem, in the Jewel Funi, you can combine them. It's very conveniently listed here. 5 level 1s do create a level 2 one, 5 level 2 will create a level 3 one, and things like that. The gold price is very negligible, so I always just recommend doing that. So at some point you will have a lot of high level gems, which is very good. And then you can go into the Soul Combine tab, where you can combine 2 gems. They don't have to be the same type, they just have to be the same level. So I can use a level 2 gem, Ice for example, and Fire. I don't use either of them, so I can use them. And if I don't, I'll answer that question just a second. If you do not want to randomize, because now you don't really know what's coming out, you can press select here and you will need a gem selector. And I will show you where the gem selector is located, or rather where you can find them. Actually, is Rubel here? No, I don't think so. So we're gonna go out here. And, well, that was some wonky spike. Also, thank you to new people who joined the stream. Thank you for stopping by. And have a pleasant stay. So, this is the infamous Rubel the Merchant. Also, thank you for the follow mix. If you go into his enchant tab, and on the second page you can buy a soul gem selector. Now it costs 5 greenstone. You can argue whether it's worth the value or not. I highly suggest not randomizing your gems. There is a limited amount of gems you can get. Greenstones are technically unlimited. Worst case, you can buy them. You cannot buy soul gems. You can never buy them. You can just farm them. Greenstones, on the other hand, you can go to the auction house and just punch in green stone. And you can see there's usually a massive amount of them listed. So if you really are in a pinch for some stones, you can always buy them. So, anyways, this is going to be summing it up for the daily routine video. I will cut the video down here. So thank you everybody who's tuned in so far.